What's up, guys? I already told you I was about to do my updated deck profile of the Odd Eyes Magician for the Link format. And man, you'll be fascinated what deck box I just got. Since I haven't, it's been taking me a while to get one right now. The Ultimate Guard, my favorite red. So back into the profile, I'm gonna continue forth and address some of the cards that I adjusted for my new list. Of course, your 3 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Oh, so glad. And then I was hoping for this. The 3 Perform Pulse Skull Crobat Joker. We need this, yeah. Of course, because links are going to become so competitive. It'll cause so much hype, and I don't even care whether it limits my extra deck for the amount of extensions I can make when I have so many options. And 60 is the way to go. Of course, you got your 3 Wisdom Eye Magician. Of course, it's odd that instead of going in my main boards, I decided to show this first simply because it was the more closer cards when I was putting the cards in order. And of course, Dragon Pit Magician. The 3, we need 3. So, and my favorite, 3 Mist Valley Apex Avian. This card will never go away. And honestly, I have not heard any rumor of it being hit in the ban list, because people claim that pendulums aren't being usable, and of course this has helped me with cycle every time you have it on the field. It's so reusable that negation is a huge factor of the game and what people want. And then a new card I just added to my deck, 3 Fairy Tale Luna. This card is literally not just Kieran, a normal summonable Kieran, but literally a Winter Cherry. Simply because, yeah, it's based on luck. But your opponent, if they want, or if they refuse to return the monster into their hand, whether it's their extra deck, they have to send another copy of the same name from their main deck or extra deck to the graveyard, and then this card's effect is negated. But the whole point is this card has a quick effect, and now this is just it turns the field, and then it basically benefits the deck and making it into a stronger build, regardless how big it is. And of course, 3 Odd Eyes Performing Pal Unicorn. I'll explain later, but this card's going to be essential soon, till we get forward to the deck. 3 Oath Dragon, and I was right. This card literally now can recycle compared to from out of all the other Pendulum decks. This makes link summoning more possible. I can go into bigger boards, and then just if you wait a bit, you may even go into a monster that has more than 3 links. Now, rather than 2 Perform Pal Pendulum Sorcerers, I included 3. Why? Because I realized he's the biggest. He is a better extension for your deck. He helps you thin the deck, and you get so many of the copies you need that I'll explain later why they are a huge part of the factor of the deck, and why they're essential to every key point of the main differential of my previous build, and why I have to explain, especially since we're playing in a new format. These cards are going to be very important in how they result to the next point, or throughout the game when needed during a situation. Of course, not to mind 1 Noble Dragon Magician. And another tuner I forgot to mention. This I was so hyped for. The Perform Pal Odd Eye Synchron. This card is very essential simply because not only is he helpful for those meaningful synchro plays, and the ones you tend for what you purchase in your extra deck, and what slots they have made, what slot I have made to resemble this and to help me adjust my deck into going to further plays. He's also essential for link plays, because simply because every norm Perform Pal Odd, let me explain. Perform Pal Odd Eyes Unicorn can be discarded from using just simply any effect, regardless whether it's a Dragon Pulse or Dragon Pit. He or she is important because it's a level 3 or lower Perform Pal monster, in which you require if you want to extend your link plays, or even make it possible, make it even bigger. Because before you want to link someone, you want to make sure before you pendulum someone, you want to make sure you have a link monster. So because a lot of times, of course, when you special summon the extra deck, it is required you have a link monster to find them to put place that you can find that with the link monster where it depending on where its link arrows are pointing to within from the extra monster to the main monster zone. And I feel like this card is well known and is a must off. Perform by Odd Eyes Dissolver. This card I find it astounding, simply because it's literally like a constant hand trap for you. You never even need to play more than one because you can just recycle it every time we have Ostrag, and that's why he's even in the deck. Pretty much that relates to the deck. So you have an infinite hand trap, and all you just need to do is so many ways to search it. So whether you want to see more than one copy, it's pointless because it'll just wreck your hand. Like if you have two or more copies, because I could never see why I need when he can't even be pendulum summoned, when really you mostly want to emphasize on your scale ones or more or scale eights because you're into going to bigger boards, and this is to simply come into as a regard of like takes if you want a fusion summon or possibly make more link summons. It's just because it has a name. It fits the deck. It's a very suitable part of the deck. Its whole point is it's supposed to follow the theme of the deck. When just playing magicians and odd eyes, you can be relying on the Performance engine, and it's very smoothing in the deck because it's what helps boost the deck's like offense and defense like overall if you have the right pieces. And you want to look at the ones that are actually can like make all sorts of like new plays, whether it's regarding like recycling, infinite loot plays, and the Perform Pal engine is what I need if I'm to make loot plays, and I just retrieve the cards that I just sent back to my deck. When you'll see later, and most people should know by now. So, but they're simply not because they're related to the deck, because they're also important for the deck when you're playing them because it's very innovative. Like it just creates so many open boards for you. It creates so many like solutions for you. And of course, because since with the amount of mechanics they have, like you're doing more than just special summoning from your actually like using just pendulum summon, but we need to emphasize on all that combines pendulum summoning into making into a bigger, better, more powerful like a powerful like recipe, one that people look at and say, hey, I need this deck, and I'm gonna play for maybe at my locals, and I can just continue forward. So moving on. Performer Pal Trump Girl, not much to say, it's obvious for obvious reasons. One Dragon Pulse Magician, one Performer Pal Odd Eyes Light Unicorn, one Genkai Magician. I could have replaced it, but simply just for the name. For a Pendulum Call to even be viable. So, of course, obviously the one Maxi. Pretty guarantee everyone will be playing this if they want to go into a bigger deck or to draw a massive and stack their hand. But my deck is literally about stacking my hand. So then once we get further in tech, you'll look into my options. You'll see why I even made these choices for my deck, because it's basically to play all around, because that's what the type of deck I'm looking forward to. So thank you. 3 Twin Twisters. Of course, my new card, 3 Pot of Desires. I need to thank one of my friends, Bernie. I was luck. I was very lucky to even encounter him. Actually, he was desperate for. He was really into my my advice. So I took it simply because once he bought the 6 Mega Tins of 2017, I traded the card he was looking for was Odd Eyes Phantom Dragon. I traded that. In exchange, I got 2 copies of Pod Stars, yet I already ordered the one online, making it that much easier for me. So I thank Bernie for that. I also appreciate now because some people understand whether it sucks. It does not. Only depending on how many cards you play, but considering this card's a 60 card deck, I need this simply to thin my deck and before it's when you have to know when to play it. So before you even place, always make sure to search my hand, or if my hand sucks, then you have no choice but to make this desperate move. Of course, banishing 10 can seem a bit too much, but if you're playing a bunch of cards, if you're playing over like the smaller the quantity of the deck, smaller capacity of the deck, you basically see Podza is not that bad because you need to max out your copies of other cards if you want to be able to see those essential cards, because most of the time you just need you just want to see just one of them. Like for example, Pendulum Call, I just need to see one. I never really see myself playing this two or three because I already had my Pendulum set because of those cards, and they were able to function, and they were just pretty much have been been there for me throughout the game, most of the game. Just by when I recall, I only played one, and all I need to do was set them, and I was able to accomplish most of what I was hoping for in the game. But yeah, for all I'll do what's said, I should continue. 3 Sky Iris. You all know it's an extender, so rather than playing 3 Terraforming, just 2, so I can add other cards for my creativity. 1 Raigeki, a good staple. Can't really even consider more because it's impossible due to ban list. 3 Pendulum Call. I appreciate it. And wow, why storming over here? Sorry. This card is, I was really happy when Konami put 3. Like I mentioned in my other video, it just simply really, this is what this deck needs in order for Odd Eyes to even survive, or to make a effort into competing with the new meta. And of course, yeah, I really never see it dying, but it depends how slowly this game's improving, how slowly this game is changing, and what other decks are going to be introduced, because we're still in the beginning of the new meta. So of course Lynx is new, like just giving them a chance, but at the same time there's simply just a mindset where you're convinced that the game has already died, but no, they come back they came for a reason. So because spamming is an issue, but the extra deck is one of the reasons, most of it. Following Storming Fury Force, like I just mentioned, always staying in my deck, excluding the 3 Johnny Mirror Force. Considering I have Mist Valley Apex Avian and Fairy Tale Luna, why would I even need more than 1 Storming? You know, get it? You know what I mean? Because they just simply bounce. And then, whether I have no Link monsters, I can only Pendulum summon 1 monster from my extra deck. So people would get the gist what I'm just mentioning right now. So continue. 1 Stalling Morning, and including 3 Solemn Strike. Not too sure whether, considering this card will get hit, but if it does go to 2, I'll figure out whether to change it for another extender. But I was hoping it would stay 3, but it's not even that broken, to be honest. It's just really powerful. And like my opinion, it's only really broken unless you go first if you're setting multiple odds. But maybe if you're just semi-limit, I really can't see it being a huge a nuisance throughout games and being very hostile towards the opponent. That it just you pay 1,500 life points, you're able to negate a special summon. So whether it's a monster, but we need to slow down the meta. That's the reason why it should exist, or even stay at 3 or maybe 2, if once the ban list does show. Like I said, I don't really see it being that bad of a card, but it's there for a reason. But I hope Konami's convinced whether it should go ahead. It should be at 2. That's my opinion. And but like I mentioned, I replaced the 3rd Terraforming for 2 Echo Oscillations. Why? Because this card is really big now. Because of the Infinite Loop I mentioned, I can constantly keep drawing 1 card I can keep plussing every single turn now. +1 during my opponent's turn, 1 during my turn. And it's literally the quickie, so whether it's trap or not, it's useful. And straight to the extra deck, 2 Decode Talkers, 1 Proxy Dragon, 2 Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon, 1 Starving Venom, 1 Crystal Wing, 1 Clear Wing, 1 Ignister, 1 Odd Eyes, 2 Absolute, 1 Dark Rebellion, 1 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, and of course 1 number 11 Big Eye side deck, double Dark Hole, etc. MST, 2 double MST, 2 Ghost Ogres, 2 Trap Eaters, 2 Humongous, 1 Gamma Seal, 2 Breakthrough Skills, 1 Heavy Storm, 2 double Heavy Storm Duster. That's all for the deck. Hope you guys enjoy. See you soon.